Hello and welcome to Drop the Mic podcast, where we discuss technology, theology, and all things in between. I want to personally thank you for joining us today. Now sit back, relax, share this, engage with the podcast that's already in progress. God bless you. What's going on, family? It's your boy, the digital theologian, Drop the Mic podcast, preaching technology and theology. Please invite a friend, a family, a foe, maybe. Whoever needs to get on here and hear this. I just want to invite you into a creative meeting with me and bring kind of this to your church. Everybody doesn't have the ability to have a staff that can help them create on Easter. Well, guess what? I want to bring that to you. So invite each pastor that you know who needs to hear this, or each social media person that you know that needs to hear this. I want to invite you to this. I am not gatekeeping. Please, ma'am, please, sir, get here ASAP. Salute to the one that's watching. Pray everybody's well. We're going to get right into it. I'm super excited about what I have to offer you tonight, so I hope it really blesses you. Let's get to it. Yo, what's up, y'all? Your boy DK. Pray everybody's well again. Please share this with somebody who needs to hear this. We're not gatekeeping today. We're going to give information, insight that will be beneficial, helpful. Let's zoom this out a little bit. That will be beneficial, helpful to your church and those who you serve alongside. All right, cool. So I want to talk about gatekeeping. What I've learned in this business of doing church ministry at full time, I've learned that we operate in silos in an effort to gatekeep information from people who may need it or could use it in various ministry settings. I will tell you, just to give you some context, I've had the opportunity, I've been blessed to be full-time in ministry as an IT manager. And my range and roles vary from whether it be various projects that's coming up, social media, and the back-end aspect of our ministry. So I have that opportunity to be afforded to me, and I want to be able to help other people alongside that same journey. So do me a huge favor, invite somebody, share this with somebody who needs to hear this. This is going to be kind of like a lab for pastoral leaders and those who are in social audio and those who are in social media and those who are in the creative space, where I'm going to give you information about what we're doing so that it can help you in what you're doing. And in an effort, I hope you'll blow up the chat. I hope that we can help and serve people in a very high capacity. Listen, the focus of Easter is to give the message, love and hope of Jesus Christ, his death, burial, and resurrection. He has risen, right, on that particular day. And if you had Disciple Central Community Church, you would say he has risen now what, which means now that he's risen, what are we going to do? So before you get into now he has risen, what are you going to do? And I love that. Shout out to Marcus King, Dr. Marcus King, on that. Now you have to ask yourself, what do I need to do before that? What happens before? And what I've learned in this business of creativity is that we gatekeep a lot of the stuff that we're doing, and somebody could be benefiting from it along the way. So my hope is to help you. It's to help you when it comes to creativity. It's to help you show why it's important, about how we don't need to limit capacity, information, insight, creativity because it will be a blessing to somebody along the way. Also, I'll be probably dropping some of the barriers that you may approach, that you may come up against as it relates to creating this certain outcome for Easter. So, number one, a gatekeep. We're not going to gatekeep. Here's the first thing you need to do as Easter is approaching. It's going to sound real crazy. So please, if you're watching this, share this with somebody that needs to hear it. Shout out to Brother Martell. If you're just coming on, I'm DK Hammonds. I'm the digital theologian, bridging technology and theology. And today I am discussing, we're not gatekeeping, we're unleashing the creativity as it relates to Easter. And I want to provide some tips and tricks that we're doing at our church to just help you. All right. So please share this out. First things first. If you plan on doing an Easter service, let me look right in the camera so I can make sure I get it. If you plan on doing an Easter service, you need to make sure that you are praying for the lost. Somebody put that in the chat if you can. Make sure that you are praying for the lost. Easter is not Easter if you are not sharing this gospel with somebody that needs to hear it. We can have all the productions. We can hang high in the sky. We can come out of, funeral arrangements, whatever the case may be. But if we have not been intentional about praying for the lost for Easter or praying for the lost at all, then please, ma'am, please, sir, expect the same people that showed up last Sunday to show up this Sunday. And if I know pastors' hearts, they want to see people saved. And the best way to do that is to be intentional about praying for the lost. Let's start out that's the first tip that you need. You need a tip, you need a strategy as it relates to praying for the lost. So let me give you one. Here's a strategy. I did this at New Hope Baptist Church. I promise you it blew our church out the water. Here's what we did. And y'all can take this. I had a document somewhere around here because I used to do it at churches. But I'm going to tell you what you need. Here it is. First thing you need to do, praying for the lost, before you pray, take a Excel spreadsheet and write names, emails, and phone numbers on it. Just an Excel spreadsheet. Make one for church. Put, hey, this is we're praying for the lost. Name, email, phone number. Each person in church should be able to write down at least 3 to 5 people who are unsaved, unchurched, de-church, or in deconstruction. Okay? They write their names, phone numbers, email. You're not going to call them just yet or at all. What you're going to do is once they bring those names back to the church, you lay them at the altar and start praying for them. This is good, man. This is a conference. You're going to lay them at the altar and start praying for them. Right? Once you start praying for them, if you held your copy, what you're going to do then is take those names, and all you want to do is be able to invite those names to your church. Simple invite, whether it be social media, whether it be a digital flyer, whether it be a regular flyer. You want to be able to invite those people to church. Those people you prayed for now. And then you send their phone number. Hey, I just want to invite you to church. I just want to let you know we've been praying for you at my church. We've laid hands on this sheet. Please be my special guest. And that is all that you do. We did that for at least 2 years. And there are people who are probably listening who can verify that our church at New Hope Baptist Church almost tripled because we were intentional about praying for the lost. Now, if you want to take it a step further, now you can start doing events for the lost prior to the week of Easter, food drives, food pantries, all of those things to get people coming to the church. You want to have gas giveaways if you want to. You want to be able to have a carnival if you need to bring people closer to your community. And I can almost assure you if you are intentional and God is with you, you will see this influx of people at your church. It is important that once you pray for them, you invite them, because most of the time, studies would suggest that people come to church as a result of personal invites. And please put your questions in the chat. Personal invites is what brings people to church. So please take that methodology, apply it to your current context, use it as you need to use it, and then go from there. Excel spreadsheet, praying for the lost, inviting the lost, provide opportunities where you can be where the lost are. If you want to receive sheep, you got to smell like them. You got to go where they at. You just can't sit and expect for your social media ads to be enough. No, there needs to be an intention behind serving and finding and seeking after those that are lost. The Bible talks about clearly, go out to the highways and the byways and compel men to come. Some of y'all enjoy flying, but you're not compelling. You enjoy riding, but you're not compelling. You enjoy preaching, but you're not compelling. And so we have to be intentional about compelling the lost to come back to Christ. And you ain't got to push it down their throat. Some of y'all want to get sacrilegious. It's not even about that. I am praying for you, and I would love for you to be my special guest on this Sunday at this time. Let me know if you need a ride. Let me know if you need to be picked up. I'm willing to do all of those things. If you don't have the clothes, let's get that done. And we have to be intentional about that margin. That's the first thing. I knew that wasn't going to be popular. That's why I gave that first. Everybody want me to get right to it. No, I want to slow walk this so that people can understand what is happening creatively, right? Okay. How can we then, as a team, tap into creativity without limiting and judging? I think this is important, right? Because now we can start inviting people to the table. And what I've seen in church settings is we scream community. I feel like I'm screaming. Turn my speakers down. We scream community like we really want it, but we love operating in silos. We like operating in echo chambers. We don't make room for other people to come who can be equally as creative and can help us tap into something that we didn't even see creatively. Easter is a time for us to find some creativity to win some to Christ. Some of us don't really want to do that. We just want to show up for Easter without doing the work that it takes to be a part and do everything necessary for Easter. Number 2, you should already be planning for Easter. If you are a pastor or you are a leader, you should have some vision of what you want to hear preached on Easter, right? And so, cool. Now that I understand what you would like to hear preached, let's tap into creating a style guide. We'll call it style guide. What a style guide is the guide that creates the social media presence, colors, scheme, verbiage, language, and also lettering that each person will use to connect to people socially or people outside of your regular ministry walk. It has everything necessary for you to guide a conversation, for it to look a certain way. It is a standard. Some people use mood boards. But Pastor, if you would drive the conversation as to what you're preaching on Easter, people can drive the content to create for Easter. But you cannot wait until the week of Easter and then expect something grandiose to happen. It doesn't work that way. Okay? So a style guide. Why do we want style guide? Style guide brings forth a thing called consistency with everything that we distribute outward. That means that we are intentional about our color, about the verbiage, about the lettering, about the lettering text. We are super intentional, and we are equally consistent across all of our platforms. Man, this is good. Y'all put your questions in the chat if you got any questions. I'm going to keep pushing. We are equally consistent. Have a style guide. Pastor, you are driving that conversation. Whatever you're preaching, whatever that title is, let's go ahead and get the graphic designer if we have one, or let's go ahead and submit this to Canva and create the actual graphic for Easter so that then can drive everything else for us. We already know our title. We already know the sermonic message. And Pastor, let me add to the conversation. You can have a dope message, but you need to have a call to action. Okay? What does that mean? What is your ask from the people? Now, these people have prayed. They've come to church to pray. They've poured out. They've labored. It's been labor intensive. They've said their names. They made the phone calls. And Pastor, what you got to do is you got a house full of guests. Is you have a call to action. What is your call to action going to be for your guest? Is it A, going to be, okay, go to our guest services and get a nice gift, and that's it? Is it B, I want you to join church. Pray the prayer of salvation with me. Join church and move forward. Is it C, I want you to do a combination of A and B, but I also want you to make a decision today to be baptized, to be saved, to move differently than you moved before. That's what's going to be the call to action to your message, right? And people need that information, not the week of, Pastor. Some pastors like to say, hey, man, that ain't what God gave me. Hey, partner, if you want it to be done right and in excellence, go to God early about what needs to be preached and what needs to be shared to God's people so that people can create the standard for you and you can walk together. It looks better when we are operating in community and not silos. And that's where gatekeeping starts. People love to have their silos and gatekeep information. And gatekeeping information disconnects people from the information that they need. Right? So we've talked about the style of it. We've talked about the call to action. We talked about the front end of prayer that needs to happen, right? And if you're being blessed by it, please put some hearts up on the side. Be great. All right. So maybe, Pastor, hey, you don't have the budget. Maybe that's a concern. Pastor or leader, if you are listening on the side of my voice, if you are a tax exempt entity or a 501c3 entity, you can go right boldly to Canva and they will supply you with an account, and I believe up to 20 users. Okay, so let's eliminate that we don't have. Now, okay, cool. Great question. Let's eliminate that if you don't have. Personal invite. Murphy, this is so good. So good, man. Personal invite, so good. Let me put that in there. Listen, let's go back to that. If you have everything that is important, a personal invite goes a long way. So when you make that phone call, don't be pushy. Don't be rude. Don't be arrogant. Hey, listen, I don't know about your church experience. I don't know where you are, but I want to simply invite you. If you need anything for the invite, know that I'm praying for you and I'm here to help you. That goes a long way. Maybe they don't come that Sunday. Maybe they come the next Sunday. But the invite was personal, and people appreciate personal invites. All right, good question. Being a great question. How do you ensure graphics are conscious of those who are visually disabled and they're neurodivergent? This is really good. Really good. Really good. So that is all about being intentional with your graphic layout. Be intentional. If you know that your church has that type of persons there, be intentional about supplying this information. So if there is a disability or a differently abled person, then let's create something for them that they can also experience with those who can see and who can walk like anybody else. Right? And that's when your team gets in and say, okay, how can we create for the lost? How can we identify who the lost are? Who are we called to as a result to that lost? And be able to create from there. So a graphic design should be cohesive and inclusive as it relates to those who are differently abled. And I will tell you, Vina, a lot of us don't do a really good job of that. So there's an opportunity. I got a good friend. If y'all know Brother Kyle will put it to you if you are on some other stuff that's not inclusive of everybody. And so we have to be very conscious of those who are differently able and provide information and content that they will be able to connect with as well. So for me, a differently able person needs or may need you to write it out, sound it out, may need for you to have something where the words are written on the screen where they can see it, may need to have something specifically for them. And I will say this too, Vina, a lot of churches aren't able to support that. And that's been a conversation for us on the back end. I will be honest about that. How we can definitely take care of it. Got to put that in. Got to factor that in. This is good stuff. Good stuff. Got to factor that in. If we're not gatekeeping, a part of not gatekeeping is being inclusive and considering every party. All right? Cool. Now, let's keep moseying on. We talked about prayer. We talked about creating a style guide for what you expect as a senior leader on that particular day. Talked about inviting people, personal invites. We talked about those things that will help as a tip or a trick. We talked about even free applications that will help you create flyers where they are consistent and they can be consistent and considering other differently able people within that scope. Yes. Yes. Okay. Cool. That's some things that we're doing. Let's see. What else? All right. So we've talked about now how can you apply? We talked about that. Let's see. Here's another thing. Please, ma'am, please, sir, check your web presence before Easter. Those who are considering a church home aren't familiar with your social media handles. They will go to your Google. They will go to your website to see if you are intentional about the information there. And here's what's important. The information that you discuss on your website must be consistent with the information that you share on your social media feeds. We have to stop mislabeling stuff and make it as consistent and cohesive as possible. We have way too many free tools. We have way too many folks who will help us design. Derek Murphy is on here if you need some help designing it. Some other brothers, Canva. We have way too many things and tools out here to help us design well. And we should be able to use those tools to design well. Okay? So that's important, y'all. Let's use the tools that we got. Okay, let's make room for those who are lost. Let's consider on our webpage those who are differently able. And let's include them here. Right? You know, on Instagram, you think everybody can see. Well, you have to consider all the factors. So your website is a great place to have this information ready so that people can use. Also, your website is a great place for you to distribute content that you want shared for Easter Sunday. Now, back in my day in Little Rock, we had a dude named Say McIntosh. Say McIntosh used to come through every Sunday and put flyers on people's cars. And he used to have the funny flyers. He used to have all kind of stuff, right? Every Sunday. We are not in that age where you can pay somebody to put flyers everywhere. Now, if you have the capability and the people, that's another step to evangelism. And you can go door to door and put that door tag or whatever on somebody's door. But a more effective way, in my opinion, is to create a digital flyer so that people can share it outward, and it will bring visibility to your socials as well as your church. So creating a digital flyer, having it on your website, brings people to your website, brings people to your social media, allows you to share, makes content consistent. Well, this is some fire stuff. Hey, my Cash App is I'm DK Hammonds. If this is blessing you, you go right there boldly and do your thing. All right. So that's it. Let's see. We've been going for 25 minutes. I normally do like 30 minutes at a time. I'm going to keep going until I get tired. All right. Another thing, I think a friend of mine, Brother Carlos out of New Jersey, frat brother, we talked about what are you doing as it relates to children's ministry. Everybody don't have children ministry. Some people do, and some people can't take on that burden on Sunday morning to have children's ministry as well as adult ministry. So people use Easter to have a family type ministry setting, which is okay. It's going to be a little packed, but it's going to be okay, right? So consider that. If you do have the opportunity to have a youth or children's church, that's more of an opportunity for somebody to be invited into your church, etc. Youth and children's church is a great evangelism tool. Awesome tool. And salute to all the youth and children workers who work Sunday in and Sunday out that people don't see, that's teaching, supporting, and loving your child or children. So that's a great thing to do as well. Also, if you have a color that everybody's going to wear, this will be a great time to do that. Show uniformity, right? And if not, that's okay too. All right. If you got any tips or tricks or tools you want to share, please add them. It's not a place where we want to gatekeep. We want to make sure everybody has the same opportunity here. We want to share information. We want to be able to apply principles that will help us win. Now, let's say you want to do a campaign of some sort. So now you want to create posts. Again, use Canva. Create posts, kind of doing the inviting for you via social. Pastor wants to do a welcoming video, do a welcoming video. You know, you want to have some cuts and reels that you've done for Sundays in the past or services in the past. Share that content and information on your social media feeds, and you're up and running. Now, this ain't going to work for everybody because everybody don't know how to apply it. But if you take what you can take and you use what you can use, you'll see a measure of success on your side, right? You be intentional about what you can and cannot do. Be realistic. You are not me. I am not you. So be extremely realistic about what you can and cannot do as it relates to the ministry work. And lastly, like I said, call to action. You can use baptism as a call to action. Use that as your call to action because you want people to come back the following Sunday. Because it's good to celebrate resurrection. But what are we doing after resurrection to continue to do the work of the ministry? Okay, so DK, share with us some tips if we are stuck and it's April, don't have any creative ideas. All right, cool. First, start scouring other churches' websites and see what they're doing for Easter, how it's looking on their side, how it feels when you see it, how can you apply information that you receive from them. Then see how you can create based on what you've seen. right? Have conversations with senior leadership. Get buy-in from them. Have conversations with other people. And then slowly put your pieces together. At this point, senior leader, if you're listening, you should have an Easter flyer created. And the flyer don't have to have your face on it. If it's about the people, let it be about them. Now, if you want to put your face on it, cool. I'm not hating. But it don't have to have that. All right? So that's one thing. You want to make sure the grammar is right. Find you a copywriter that's going to help you with the grammar aspect of your stuff. You know, people are petty, right? And they be like, I'm not coming to this church because y'all don't know how to spell church. And they're going to find the stuff on your social feeds that just don't match up. Also, leader, this is not a time to beat up on people on Easter. This is a time to have an evangelistic message so that people can experience Christ. That's what it's about. Thank y'all for the 115 hearts. I appreciate you. I got time for questions. Please put your questions up, concerns. I've given a great deal of information as it relates to not being stuck, as it relates to not gatekeeping, as it relates to some of the creative things that I'm doing or have done or will do. For us, we're having Easter almost the entire week. We're celebrating something the entire week from Tuesday to Sunday. Right? So we're being very intentional. We're having, various things. I can't tell you all of them, but various things will be going on in the church setting. And I think it's important that we roll from there. Action shots. Look at, I'm the spell check queen. Yeah, they ain't coming if you can't spell, man. We got to be able to do that. So make sure you have your copywriter to read that and help you out with that. So that's 31 minutes. That's a few longer than what I anticipated. Again, this is Easter Creativity Unleashed. No gatekeeping tips and tricks. I hope the tips and tricks have helped you. I'm open to discuss more about this in the chat. Or if you need to have a consult moment, let's consult, let's collaborate if we need to, just to make sure that thing is cracking. And hold yourself accountable to even doing it after Easter is done. Because some of y'all, on the flip side, are CME Christian. Y'all only come to church Christian, Mother's Day, and Easter. And I'm not judging you, but it's just who you are. Right? And you got this high expectation of what you think church should be. Well, if you were involved, it would meet that expectation. So you, ma'am, you, sir, get involved. Engage. Bring your talents and bring yourself as it relates to the ministry work. And people will be blessed as a result of you making that exchange. Right? But on the flip side, those who have been serving, we can't gatekeep the space. We have to leave it open for people to come and want to be involved and want to be engaged and give them a space where they can belong. And if we are gatekeeping, we are siphoning those who have the ability to help us get where we're trying to go. So let's think communal. Let's think evangelistic. Let's work hard on the front end so that we can experience God's best on the back. Let's operate in excellence, right? Let's do it for the glory of God, not the glory of man. And we will see these results. Some of them are meager, some of them are mild, but man, they're all for the glory of God. And that's what we want to see. People change, transform for the glory of God. And amen. So please, ma'am, please, sir, take these, share these with other church leaders who need to have this conversation. I would love to open up a Zoom and just show some of the people some of the stuff that I'm doing. Walk them through how to do it. Help them. I got friends that do social media. I know they're willing to help. they're going to charge you. Stop avoiding the fee. If you wait until the last minute, there's going to be a fee. Stop avoiding it. If you would do it early, people work with you. Stop avoiding it. If you want to look a certain way, pay the fee. And pay the fee. Whatever that fee is, pay that. Can't be afraid of that because we have to have things look well for the glory of God. Those who can and will. Canva can do a lot of this stuff, y'all. But that you're trying to do that's super creative, Canva can't do. Canva is limited. And you have to get an outsider to come in and create that for you. And I'm telling you, those who are graphic designers that work with church are inundated with requests from people in churches right now. So get ahead of it and take care of the business at hand. I'm serious. So I hope that helped y'all. I hope that blessed y'all. I hope you take some of those tips and tricks and use them in your church. I am not gatekeeping. I want to see your church win. It's a lot of leaders that don't want to see your church win. There's a lot of leaders that are selfish. That's not me. Here it is. Laid out. You can find it, right? I'm here to help. I just leave it at that. Here to help. But don't come roll up on last minute like, oh, man, no, man. Hey, I have other churches that I consult. I have more than one. And God is probably going to send more. But we have to be intentional and take care of business of the ones we got. And I think I only got room for maybe one more other church. And I'm choosing who that church is going to be, who can benefit from those services that I provide. So that's what it is. So I hope this blessed y'all. If you got any quick questions, I got about 2 more minutes for questions. I hope this helped. Maybe next time or maybe next week, I'll bring on, I got a homie I may bring on, and we may talk youth ministry in Easter. And then the next week, I may bring on some people from social media and social audio and kind of walk us through this that can provide us some help. Yes. And don't get you some photos, Pastor Leader. Get you some photos, some good headshots, of you and your family, not you and your side piece. And God bless you. Because some of y'all be taking pictures with whoever and whomever. God ain't pleased. One day we going to start living holy, man. Just one of these days, we going to start living right. We're going to start doing right for the sake of the kingdom. That's one of these days. I'm just saying. Hey, y'all know I don't mince my words. It's all good. That's why I got my own platform. So if you don't like it, you can leave. But it's true, right? And Pastor, I'm praying for you. Let me say this before I leave. Pastor, I'm praying for you. I got you lifted up. I recognize how Easter is. I recognize the burden of Easter and then the fall off after Easter and how that impacts your psyche. I recognize that you want things to be done in excellence, but you may not have the people that you think that you need. I recognize that. I recognize that, you want to pay somebody, but you may not have the resources that you need. Recognize that too. And I'm praying for you because I want you to succeed and I want you to win. That's why I'm here. That's why this is not a charge or nothing like that. I'll do my podcasting class that's coming up. It's already done. I just hadn't had the time because I've been working on this for church. And we'll talk more about that as well. And we'll just open it up and just have conversation about how to do that. But Pastor, let me also say this. This is not a time for you to get siloed, antisocial, disappointed. This is a time for you to ask and request for help if you need it. If you don't, if you have the staff, let them do it. If you don't, ask for the help, man, so it can be what you feel like God said it is supposed to be for Easter. And then we have conversation about Easter, because after Easter, what are we going to do? What did they do? Because Jesus didn't stay in the tomb. He went out there and got that work. And you're supposed to get that work. Please, ma'am, please, sir, understand that Easter is about the resurrection of Christ. We got an opportunity, y'all, to really see lives change. And I'm excited about that. So please go find the help you need and the people you need. I am DK Hamilton, digital theologian. It's been real. I thank y'all for coming. Peace and grace. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. My hope is that the podcast added value to your life. Please, please, please subscribe from your favorite application, leave us a review, and even follow us on YouTube for your up-to-date information. Thank you. Peace.